Shimelle Laine, and I'm here with a new edition of Sketch to Scrapbook page. And today's sketch is really simple to get started. So my page is going to start with 2 landscape 4x6 photos put together, and then 2 pattern papers for the background. So I'll show you where I've started really simply. I'm using the yellow floral pattern paper from my March Best of Both Worlds kit, and then I just used a couple papers from my scrap basket. I wanted something darker than what I had in the kit because these 2 photos are a little bit more autumn in color tone, and everything I had in that kit was particularly spring. So this wood grain with the arrows is Studio Calico's it's called the Here and There collection. And then I had a scrap of this red pattern paper, which is Studio Calico's Snippets collection, and I've just matted the 2 photos there together. I prefer my photos to be flush together, but if you prefer a gap, of course you can just separate them and then cut the border around. So that's super simple way to get started with this sketch. So I'm just going to adhere that directly to the bottom of the page. And then the 2 photos in a block, I'm going to leave a little bit of space here on the side and use that edge to keep things nice and straight. And then I'm on to my embellishment. So really simple structure to get started. So on the page, then there are a few layers here with the journaling block on the top. Title lettering above and below those papers there, and then a little bit of embellishment dotted across on this diagonal line. They go opposite the journaling to make a little triangle here, but then also one on the opposite side of the photos to bring that in together to make it all fit a little bit. So I have my supplies from the kit, and I have a scrap of this floral paper, which is the same design as what's here in the yellow, but it's smaller and it's multicolored. And I have this journaling block, which I've used part of on another page. This was a 4x6 journaling block that I cut down, so I'm going to cut it down again and use that for my journaling. And also this, which is from that same cut apart sheet, which is one of the blocks that's 4x3, and that was just that size to cut out. Nice neutral, there's a bit of distressed text there. So I'm going to start there, and I'm going to start with this block here, and I'm just going to cut the other pieces to fit. You can do that with your trimmer or with some scissors, and I don't need them to be absolutely perfect because I'm going for that stacked up look. So I'm just going to use my scissors to get a general idea here, and then the basic premise will be to stack these 3 papers next to the photo. And in the sketch, they're on top of the photo, and I think it will work underneath or on top, so it just depends on what's in your picture and whether you want to overlap on top of the pictures or if you want to tuck it underneath the photo mat and have that clean edge there. I'm going to be inking everything in brown ink to coordinate, but also to bring in that darker tone because the photos are they're quite brown in tone. Not the people, but that background with all the wintry green. There's not a lot of bright color there. It's all out of season greenery, as it were. So I want the brighter option in the middle, and I'll have my neutral top and bottom. I'll get my journaling written on that and stack it up here so that I can put my title and my embellishment on. This page is going to come together really quickly. I made one little change when I added my title. Instead of including the title above the stack of papers, I added it to the papers themselves. So the title runs just over the top of those layers, but then I did include the subtitle wording below the cards themselves to give a little bit of a horizontal line for them to sit upon. Now, time for the embellishment, and I wanted to bring in my stickers from that Dear Lizzie sticker book, and I had a few different things to lead me on this. One was that I wanted to use 3 of these that are all the same size. 2 came from different phrases that would work well for the event that I was scrapbooking. And then this one with the 3 hearts, I then chose to help choose the colors of the other elements I wanted to include. Then I thought, well, there's an awful lot of boxiness going on here. It would be nice to include something that was a bit more round. And this sticker from the sticker book already comes as a circle, and the colors that are represented in the flower are the same 3 colors there in the heart. So I was onto a winner there, but then I didn't have more circle stickers that same size with the right colors and the right kind of look for this layout. So instead I chose 2 that are different shapes, one that's a rectangle and one that's a square, but the same color and look that I wanted. And I'm just going to use a circle punch that's just about the same size as that piece. It's just ever so slightly bigger, to punch circles from those stickers. So now I have the shapes and sizes that I want. I'm going to add brown ink to all of these just like everything else, and then start adding my little groups of embellishments in the places on the sketch. Now you may have noticed I've pulled out 3 here. I've got 3 boxes and 3 circles, and that sketch actually includes 4. So I'll have a look to see if I need to make one more group or if I'm just going to use 3 instead of the 4 that are originally called for in the design. I added a wood veneer star to each of those little groupings, and so I have 3 equal pieces to spread around my layout. And on the sketch, if I put them in the same spot on the sketch on the layout as they are in the sketch, I think it's going to get very crowded, because the embellishments that I've chosen are a little bit too big. You can see how they're going to take up just too much room compared to the other elements. If I was just using the wood grain stars, however, the wood veneer stars, then I would be able to get away with it. But because I wanted to use more embellishment, I need to spread it out and have a bit more space. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to use just 3, and I'm going to separate them out a little bit more than the original design calls for, and use this same idea of 3 that take in the whole layout. So they're going to be in a triangle around everything else, but instead of being surrounded, instead of surrounding just the journaling, they're going to surround the larger element of the page. So in each one I'm going to be layering a circle sticker, a rectangle sticker, and then a little bit of the wood grain. And then I think I'll come back and add a little bit more detail in to see if I can bring everything together. With all those little groupings of embellishments down, I just have 2 little things I'm going to do to finish the page. One is that I'm not particularly happy with this gap here. I used the same format of having 1 circle and 1 rectangle, but I swapped it around and put the circle on top of the rectangle instead of the other way around. And it just gave me this little gap here that it's not horrible, but I'm not loving it. So I found another sticker in the book that's the same shape. It's not that exact same color scheme that I thought I would stick to before, but the colors that are here are all on the layout somewhere, so I'm just going to use that to bridge the gap and stick it there, and then pick up this element here and tuck it underneath. So now that has a little bit more continuity. There is that gap in the middle, but I'm okay with that gap, because these pieces are all the same size and you can tell that they're different elements. I'm okay with that. Then I wanted to add just something up here, because I think this embellishment needs a little bit something more to make it feel like it's part of the page. It's a little bit too far away, so I'm going to add just a stamp. This is the plain little arrow stamp from the Amy Tangerine stamp set, and I'm just going to use that same brown distress ink that I used on all my edges. And I'm not going to make it point toward the photo because I want to keep the line of the layout, but just fit it underneath that block, and it's pointing in that direction. So really, really simple touch. I think if I were going to do anything else to this layout, it would be to add a few little splatters of ink to each of those groupings, but there's really only the one that's all on the lighter shade, and I think it would be hard to see it here. So I'm going to stop here and call that done. Thanks so much for watching. I'd love for you to share your work if you have a go at this sketch at www.shimelle.com, and I hope to see you soon.